movies and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry K.
And I'm Todd Pleasant. That was an extra long "and" because somebody else has got to say it the last 2 weeks. So,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
That is true.
Was it the last 2 weeks? It was Tom? Oh, and we did Daryl
and Jim. Yeah, before that.
It's
Been a little while since it was just the three of us. Yeah.
hey, that's my extra word. If you copyright the intro, I get "and."
I do. I have
so.
the copyright to... We'll see. I'll be talking to my lawyers soon. As soon as they're finished fixing this election nonsense, I'm going to have them over here, and they're going to fix my nonsense.
It's interesting that you could be referring to fixing the election or
Yeah, I was
fixing the
going to say
election.
that phrase could be edited very easily. As soon as my lawyers are done, fixing
It's
the
all
election.
about the inflection there, yeah.
It
But
really
the
is.
reality
yes.
of it is they're not going to be able to do anything because it's ridiculous. We just lost listeners there, but anyway. Okay, this week, a little bit of a potpourri, if you will. We're going to talk about
Yes, we're going to
Mandalorian.
sit in a jar and smell bad.
Yeah, exactly. Just in a jar of wood shavings. I know we talked about Mandalorian. We're going to talk a little bit about it this week because it was a pivotal episode. We're going to talk a little bit about Prop Store. We'll do some other stuff. Follow us on iTunes. Or whatever.
And leave us a review on Twitter.
I'm joking.
You
Leave
need
us
to
a
work on
review
sounding
on
desperate
iTunes
when you
and
say that.
Follow
'cause
us
it's
on
just like-
Instagram.
yeah.
I know Barry just said, "Oh, he can say, leave us a review on iTunes. It's as good as anybody, apparently."
Yeah, well, hey, that's...
Because you know what? It's not that hard, honestly.
You tell that to Michael Buffer. Anyway, let's go random. It is the holiday season, everybody, just so you know. Merry all your holidays, whatever you're into, as you're listening to this. But let's go random. Todd, what do you got?
Okay, on Sunday, which was the 29th, the rights to Daredevil reverted back to Marvel from Netflix. So the moratorium period where Marvel couldn't do anything cinematically or television production with Daredevil ended. So there's a couple different fan petitions out there to try to get Marvel to
Call
put
Ben
together
Affleck.
season 4 of Daredevil. It will not happen. I will almost guarantee that. I do not think this is their kind of thing, but I would personally absolutely love to see it. So
They've
did
got a
sign
half a
one of
dozen
the fan
shows they're
petitions.
not making already.
And,
I watched the movie Stardust over the weekend just hoping that I would see Charlie Cox turn on the Daredevil stuff, but he never did.
No, I just didn't do it.
No.
Like I said, I love the show. We got 3 seasons of it, and it was best of the stuff they did on Netflix. But
sure.
I would love to see, like I said, I'd love to see them do something with it, or at least integrate the character into something else. He is part of that shared universe, and they could just say that the last 3 years were part of the Blink.
Well, I also wouldn't mind seeing Vincent D'Onofrio show up as Kingpin somewhere, even if it was in a Spider-Man
Oh my God,
movie.
yes. It's like there's a number of different things there. I just don't despite the Winter Soldier-ish grittiness that they're talking about in
Falcon and the Snowman.
Falcon and the Snowman. I was trying not to say that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't see Frank Castle and Daredevil working with that.
No, I don't either.
I will say I would love to see Matt Murdock show up as a defense attorney in one of the series. That something like that
could happen.
Cool.
You never know.
Yeah,
Could happen. That would be interesting.
Dave, what do you got?
Barry, what do you got? What, did he just say that to him?
You said,
just
Dave, what
asked
do you
you
got?
what you
You said,
had,
Barry,
so-
what do you got?
Oh, you said me? Oh,
Yeah.
I have something. So, I know we talked a couple weeks ago about Godfather 3 coming out with a special edition, God forbid why. You know, you've got a movie that people are talking about. They are making a movie about the making of the movie. They're actually making a mini-series about the making of The Godfather for Paramount Plus, which is interesting. Like,
Of the making of...
So of The Godfather. They're making a mini-series about the
it's
making
a dramatized
of the
Not a
story.
documentary. You're actually talking
No.
about...
It's a dramatized story about the making of The Godfather.
Yeah.
So just imagine that. Say, okay, we got a part for you. This is going to be a game changer. You're going to play Al Pacino playing Michael Corleone.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. I could do that.
Now, meanwhile,
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know what
I read a headline the other day. I think it was they said Diane Keaton says that this new edit completely redeems Sofia Coppola.
She said that she likes... Oh, I didn't see that. I said that she likes... I saw that she likes this much better than the original film and that it redeems the film. So...
Well, the headline I saw, and again, I didn't read the article, said that it redeemed Sofia Coppola in the movie. We shall see. I will watch it just because I always...
Is it? I think it's in theaters. Is it going to be on something?
It'll
I'm
eventually.
Sure it will.
Yeah, it'll have to.
I've seen that movie once.
Yeah, me too.
In the theaters.
same thing here. Yeah, like everybody. We saw it in theater and never thought about it again.
Yeah. I mean, Sofia Coppola wasn't an actress at the time. I mean, or maybe she was, but she wasn't good. I mean, you know, she shouldn't have been in it.
100%.
You know, I blame myself.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
I was the one who kept Winona Ryder off the set.
I know. We
didn't let her go.
If you weren't carrying Winona Ryder around, then there wouldn't have been a problem.
She hadn't gotten that cold.
Yep.
Then she would
Dave
have been
gave her
in
a
that.
cold on the set of Mermaids, and she couldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She would have been good in that movie.
Oh, she would have, and she would have looked like the two of their child too.
Yeah.
So,
But no offense to Andy Garcia, I don't know what his. I liked him in Black Rain, I guess. I don't know what else, but he was not great in that movie. It was a little over the top.
There was a lot of things
I
that were
also
great
felt
about
like
that
they
movie.
didn't give him the right stuff to work with either. It just the character was. I don't think he took it over the top. I think as written, it took it over the top.
I agree with that. It was a little too forced.
I think we've seen him in enough things where he did well that I don't put this on him. So
Ocean's 11 and 12.
yeah, he's been in a lot of things.
But it's good.
like,
You're right. You're right. I blame Coppola.
Yeah,
Good wine, bad third movie.
yeah,
No doubt.
yep. Keep the wine, leave the third movie.
Exactly. Nice. Okay, now Barry, what do you got?
All right. As a surprise to no one, Disney Plus has digitally removed the guy with the jeans and the T-shirt and the watch from.
Oh, I
The
saw
Mandalorian.
that. That's sad. Why did they do that?
This is, I guess they just for posterity they want it to be, clean.
Because they can, it's just if but on the other thing is like, is there anyone who would have watched that show just to see the gaffe? I mean, it's like
No.
it's the hottest thing they've got.
Game of Thrones took
I
out the coffee
went back
cup,
and
so.
rewatched it, and I did not catch it, and I'm not sure if I saw it after they fixed it.
Yeah.
Because I watched it because I wanted to watch the show again.
It was a
but-
blink and you miss it thing. It was not obvious. It's not nearly as
no,
obvious.
that was 2 frames. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just yeah.
That's the problem. There are people out there watching this show frame by frame and catching this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're also finding Easter eggs and a lot of other things because they are packing a lot of stuff in here. But apparently that was not intended to be one of them.
And I was
So,
proud of
now-
myself because I went back and I rewatched a YouTube video on the episode we're going to talk about in a little while just to see if there was stuff in there that I missed. And the videos that I watched that pointed out all the Easter eggs, there was nothing that got past me. So I was actually happy about that.
Yeah. I would
You know,
say
it's funny.
if the dude was holding a Starbucks cup, it was intentional. But I do think it was just a mistake.
I guarantee there's stuff in movies. Speaking of mermaids, I worked with a guy on Mermaids who was, I think, the Dolly Grip or whatever. And he had worked on Baby Boom, if you know the movie. Diane Keaton. Speaking of Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
That's one of Pam's favorite movies. He said that in Baby Boom, there was a yellow flashlight that they tried to put him and his crew tried to put in every scene. and we tried to. I'm like, that is the best thing ever. We need to do that. And I know I cannot remember. I think it was a can of Pepsi or something that we tried to bury in the set in Mermaids. It's not in every shot, but it's definitely in there somewhere.
That's
funny. You just like literally, I was on the camera crew. Look in the camera. If here's the lens. And here's the end of the shot. We would just put it on the corner of a shot just for our own purposes. So there's shit in there in every movie. I'm sure it's been done.
Oh yeah, that gives me a reason to rewatch Mermaids.
I was working on a movie and we were filming this big fight scene, and I was the guy doing the slate. So I'm like, I'm gonna do and it was a very tight set. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna move to here. Is that okay? And the director's like, yes, that's okay. So we do the thing, and then all of a sudden the fight gets out of control, sort of, not out of control, and then I'm like right in the middle of the camera, and the guy starts screaming. I'm like, dude, I asked you if it was okay. And my boss at the time said, he specifically said, can he stand here? And you said yes. So, it's not appropriate. So, anyway, that shit happens all the time.
And was the Christian Bale then come at you, scream at you? Do you remember you've heard the famous Christian Bale rant? Yeah, for the guy at the lighting.
I did have, and no one yelled, but I remember we had this I was working on a TV series, this super emotional scene. Robert Klein, if he's a comedian but he's an actor, it was doing this whole emotional thing, and I had to write notes about camera stuff, and I dropped my pen in the middle of it. And it's just it almost turned into one of those things. Those are the things you remember, not all the other stuff. But it was just bad. I mean, he didn't go off. We had to all leave the set for a couple minutes. I'm sorry, I dropped my pen. What do you want me to do? Yeah, a lot of stuff like that goes on.
Yeah.
You know what else goes on? Fanboy Collectibles. It's the holiday season. Now is the time to be buying stuff from them.
For yourself.
Or treat yourself, yeah. The best gift is one you get yourself.
Because you know what you like more than anybody else.
Hot Toys Tusken Raider. Anybody?
Hells yeah. I already pre-ordered
I knew that. You need 7 of them.
I'll take one, but yes. I'll be happy with one.
We heard last week that they are unique. So we need the Series 2 and the Series 3 Tusken Raiders also.
Exactly. So. Make sure you check the weave on their undergarment.
Yes. It's the first thing I'll do when I get the figure.
Yeah. Also, C-3PO and Babu Frick statue.
So
I know we talked about him last week.
So cute.
Yeah. But I think more should be made of him. I liked him. I thought he was a good little character. I liked his attitude. I think he was been looked over.
I was actually thinking of him 2 episodes ago in Mandalorian when the child, now we have a name for him, but when the child was down inside that conduit, and I was thinking,
totally.
Boba Frick could fit in there. He could totally fit in there.
Take care of that.
And he would have known what to do with the wires.
Of course he would.
Exactly. But Hot Toys and Sideshow and Pops and Kotobukias and all kinds of other stuff. Check them out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out online or at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe saying gift certificates. I'm sure they have gift certificates.
Yep.
Yeah. I know at least 3 people who would love one of those.
That's right.
All right, so we talked a lot about Mandalorian, but it was a fairly pivotal episode this week. So we're going to do, I'm starting the timer. I'm saying 10 minutes, which is probably more than we should, but let's try to stick to that. So Grogu. What's up with that? Oh, spoilers. There's spoilers, people. If you haven't watched it, you're a loser.
Do you think you'll ever be able to refer to Baby Yoda as Grogu, or is he always going to be Baby Yoda?
Oh, my God. What a terrible name.
What's up with that? Now, I the other day I wrote it out, and I'm like, it's almost all the letters for George. There's definitely some connection between Grogu and George.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe you spell Grogu differently than we're all spelling it. Could you spell it
I don't think so,
Like-
because I've seen people have looked at the closed captions.
Grog. How do you spell George? There's two E's.
George.
What else am I missing? Grow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's two E's. Grogu with two E's and a little like umlaut above it, maybe?
You're making it very heavy metal.
I don't
Yeah,
know what an
I'm not-
umlaut
yeah.
does. Or what's that? Asengrav? Isn't that a thing?
I will
To
I will
put a-
still refer to him as Baby Yoda, because I never referred to him as the child. So I'm just, it's going to be hard. If this show
I
goes
think
on for
Yoda
5 or
was
6
so
seasons,
much a better suggestion. I wish they'd listened to me. So
well, Yaddle was a stupid name. So
Yaddle was a
Yaddle-
good name, but Yodel kind of redeemed that. It kind of fell between Yoda and Yaddle. And,
Yaddle got disrespected in this episode too.
Yeah,
Because Ahsoka
Ahsoka didn't reference
said,
Yaddle.
I only know of one other. Now,
no, that's accurate. She never had
Yeah.
a scene with her.
She wasn't around with in episode 1
but
era.
you didn't know who's on the council?
Yaddle never showed up again after episode 1. She
Yeah.
wasn't in the council chambers after that.
So she was
Because the
on
puppet
a
was so
mission
freaking
somewhere,
ugly that they couldn't use it.
possibly
we
giving
know
birth.
You give birth to Grogu.
Yes.
You don't think
Or
Yoda
she
was
had
getting
filed
busy
some
with
kind of
Yaddle?
suit against Yoda, and there was a separation.
Exactly.
There was a restraining order.
Yeah.
Enough
So
with the
anyway,
force
we got-
hands, okay?
All right,
We got-
so
I was a little surprised that, she claims he was trained by Jedi Masters. I mean, I thought he was a little, he's 50, but he's a little, he couldn't put two
but they
wires
take
in
them
the
at
right
they
place.
take them at birth and start training them very young.
In some
I guess
cases,
so.
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
So here's a
But-
question that we don't know the answer to, but it's fun to speculate. Was he removed from the temple by somebody with good intentions, or was he taken from the temple by somebody with bad intentions? We don't know. They said he was removed from the temple, so he wasn't there when Anakin killed the
I
youngling.
think he's the one. I think he's the one youngling that you could hide. I think he was the smallest of the younglings, and I think someone who was like essentially a Jedi nanny or something like that hid him.
Castanu, the librarian.
Right,
Somebody-
exactly.
I was just gonna
Something
say
like
librarian.
that.
I didn't know
So,
her
someone
name.
like that was able to hide him when they couldn't hide the other children.
That's a
Okay.
yeah.
Do you think? Okay, I agree with that. Someone hid him somewhere. Do you think there's an unknown Jedi out there?
No, I think it's a support I think it's somebody that's like the.
It'd be cooler if it was a Jedi we just
No,
don't know
because
about
a
yet.
Jedi shouldn't have survived. A Jedi should have gone back and defended the other children.
Yeah, but
No,
this
you
is
don't
the-
save one kid.
But when
You go down
when
fighting to
Obi-Wan
save.
and
You
Yoda
go down
went
fighting
back,
to save
Well,
the
they
others.
didn't know everyone was gonna. Okay. You take Yoda Jr. You gotta hide him. We'll defend here. And as he's gone, everyone's getting killed.
Or
who
you-
knew they'd all?
Well, and
with
look,
the
let's
Jedi,
face
think
it.
they'd all get killed.
we now know that Grogu has a very high midichlorian count. So maybe there was this reason, not just because of his size, but also maybe there was another reason why they wanted
Excuse me, M count.
M count. Yes.
I gotta believe, as much as I'm hoping that the Yoda Council isn't as pathetic as humans are, where everyone's equal and everyone gets the same soccer trophy. Sorry, Yoda Jr. is more important than everyone, because he's at some point going to be the leading member of the Jedi Council
Yeah,
at some point.
yeah.
He's got to be saved.
Yeah, I think it was because he was small and they could stick him in a backpack, to be honest with you.
But he's also super important. He was the future of the Jedi in 500 years.
Could be. He was being
possibly.
groomed for greatness, and maybe we'll finally get to see that. Because we certainly, and no fault of Mark Hamill, we certainly didn't see, the great Jedi Master Luke Skywalker that we wanted to see. So maybe we'll see the great Jedi Master Grogu at some point.
But
Could
so
very
that's
well.
the thing. Like right now, as we sit 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, as they say, we only know of one other Jedi, right?
Well, no, Luke is out there. I mean,
Luke.
Ahsoka isn't technically a Jedi, although she was trained
She
by
had a
a
hell of
Jedi.
a lot
saying-
more training than Luke did, though.
I'm giving her too. Her, Luke. Is there anyone else?
Well, Ezra Bridger is out there somewhere, but he was also not. He didn't officially become a
Theoretically,
Jedi.
yep.
Okay,
We
I'm
don't
not talking
know.
about
I don't
cartoon
believe
characters.
anybody else survived Order 66.
So I'm just curious if they're going to pop up another Jedi that we don't know about, which would be cool.
Again, Mace Windu, semi, hacked up there and survived the fall.
Semi-handed.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Who
look, there
knows?
are rumors out there that he's got his own series coming. So
Oh, Jesus.
okay. Now, can we talk about the important thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Barry, what did you think?
Well, I was first just, I expected them to maybe halfway through the episode have her show up. I did not expect the opening scene of the show to be Ahsoka being a badass. So I think Rosario Dawson was a very serviceable Ahsoka. I think it was really good.
I think she was great. I think
I thought-
translating
I mean,
a
I don't
human,
know much
to,
about it. I
to a
think she did a
human
great
actor,
job.
I think was great.
No,
I really do.
and I'm not taking anything away from her. I think the voice threw me just because I've seen 7 years of the Clone Wars and Rebels, and
but this is a slightly
she's
more
30 years
mature
older.
version. The other thing is, as I will say, if you squinted and looked at all of this stuff, posture, all the actions, the movements, and everything like that, they did a really good. And again, this is Filoni, did a really good job on making that look like a more mature Ahsoka.
they did. I take nothing away from any of it. I think
Until she reversed the lightsaber and used it basically backhanded, I was like, wait a minute. And then she did it, and I was like, okay, that's right.
I think the problem I had, honestly, was just that it sounded... I've seen enough Rosario Dawson and other things that it just sounded... It was Rosario Dawson's voice. I almost wish they had done something... I'm not saying I should have dubbed it with Ashley
I didn't
Eckstein,
find it
but-
jumping out at me that as much as you did. I felt like they blended her in there very, very well. I was super pleased with it. I can't imagine. I was a little anxious about this, how this was going to translate from animation to live action. I really also, but when you were saying about her coming right out at the very beginning and not kind of easing into her the way they've done with other characters, I think this is a backdoor Ahsoka pilot. I think this
100% it was.
and that's why, he was the supporting actor in this.
Well, that's interesting. You're seeing these people, and are we done with Ahsoka for this season? Are we done with Boba Fett? Are we, are they just sort of throwing these things in there? And
Are they universe
moving
building?
on?
And if they are, that's okay. Because
I mean, it is
it's
what
a big
it is.
universe. I'll tell you, if she's like kind of like the lone samurai, kind of a Ronin thing, or has a list, which we'll talk about in a minute, I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's a different mission. It's a different kind of thing. The other thing that would be interesting is she would be the vehicle to introduce other characters from, one of whom we've seen from the animated series. And it wouldn't be as forced. It wouldn't be, randomly they ran into this person, because she's already made all these connections.
No, I agree. And I think constantly bringing the same characters back over and over again makes the universe feel small. So if on his travels he stumbles
but like
across
I said, but she'd be the
people-
person that could do that because she's got the prior associations. Him running into randomly all these characters is a different sort of thing.
What's with
the
her
name drop? What did you think?
Can't beat the old lady with the metal stick. I mean, that was a little on the lame side, I thought.
Well, she was
like
trained
the
by
idea
Grand
that
Admiral
there's
Thrawn.
something a lightsaber can't cut through, and
I like that too, but it was not like she's got a stick and she's moving slow. You can't beat her in like 2 seconds.
You know that's Bruce Lee's goddaughter, right?
yeah.
Who is?
The woman that she was fighting with the big metal stick.
Really? She
Yeah.
could have been a little better than that then.
Well,
she also got
she
a
was
few
a little
years on
kid
it,
when he died.
but she, I thought that was I found that interesting. I also found, like I said, that
When she started cutting at Mando with the lightsaber, I'm like, whoa, that was pretty intense.
Yeah,
Before we knew, I guess Beskar doesn't get cut by a lightsaber.
That's
that was
good to know.
wild.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Yeah,
that was cool. I mean, but like, you just jump out and just cut people's arms off without even knowing what's going on. You know, that was a little much.
Well, and you know, she left the Jedi Order for a reason, and she doesn't agree with a lot of their, you know, dogma, and she was clearly she's been out on a mission of some sort, or you know, on a quest.
And I mean, the reasonable assumption in that case was they'd hired, you know, they brought a hired gun in and sent him, and I think that was I think she would have been silly not to act in the way she did towards him when they first met.
Well, and for all we know, and Dave won't get the reference, but the owl was in the tree. I don't know if you saw that, Todd, but the owl the owl may have, you know, been over and knew what the plan was, and that's why.
Was the owl the one from Clash of the Titans? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not Bobu.
Yeah.
So, you know the name. I mean, ladies, he's not available. Sorry,
he's taken.
So,
ladies, he's taken.
The name drop I mentioned. So we can see Grand Admiral Thrawn in this. This brings. That's interesting.
I bet we don't see him in
any
this.
of the animated stuff.
I bet
What's
we
that?
see him. Yes, he did. He showed up in Rebels.
Showed up in so his original appearances are not canon anymore, but
They're in the books.
stuff in the Clone Wars is.
Right,
So
and
Jesus
they kept true to a lot of
Thrawn books.
They kept true to the things from the books about him and his character. They didn't keep the Luke, Leia,
very
and
much so.
Han stuff. But the character that was in those books is who he was in Rebels. He just had a different path.
Right.
I bet we don't see him in this though. I
books
bet we
take
see
place?
him in the Ahsoka series.
I think so too. I think at this point it wouldn't make sense introducing another big baddie. So
I mean, unless the mission at some point. Well, so at least now we know who Moff Gideon reports to, right? So,
Yep.
Or at least we think we do anyway. So if the hierarchy is you've got, you know, the Moff Gideon level guys reporting into Grand Admiral Thrawn, and they're all working on this cloning project to try to bring the Emperor back. That's a great. Boy, that would have been a better story than the one we got in the sequels.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it would have.
But it was a backstory.
Yeah.
Sort of. Anyway, we're way over our time. Any other things?
Yeah. Well,
on
look,
this?
I don't want to leave the topic with you guys thinking I didn't like it. I thought it was great. I have to go back and rewatch the episode. I have only watched it
Barry likes
once.
animated Star Wars better than real Star Wars.
I-
that?
It's all Star Wars.
I was
It's all real
anxious
Star
about
Wars.
it. I was very pleased with it. So
I don't know too much about Ahsoka. I mean, I've seen a season or two with her, but she's a grown-up person now. I mean, and not a cartoon.
There are some good YouTube videos, Dave, that will watch like a half-hour video and you'll get everything you need to know. You don't have to go back and watch.
Yeah,
all the
I mean,
episodes.
I saw much of it.
Oh, I
but-
mean, and the thing with her, and this is she started as like the most annoying character they wedged in the story to have someone the kids could identify with, and developed into one of the most pivotal characters, and is a better part of the explanation, is a big part of the long explanation of why Anakin turned. I mean, I really do believe in the way Filoni told that arc. If the two of them had never been separated, he could never have been turned by the Emperor. I think she was in effect his conscience, and the loss of her, and the loss of her judgment, and her checking him, and vice versa, his having to model for her and whatnot, put him in the position where he could be exploited.
And
So-
she's the only one that he confided in about what was really going on.
That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah. No, it's just this was a guy who was adrift, and the Emperor took advantage of that. And
Well, the Emperor
Yeah.
set him adrift, really, so that he could take advantage
yeah,
of it.
and very much so. But
Yeah.
still, like I said, it was the separation of the two of them that I think in the long telling of the story that left him vulnerable for what ultimately happened. And I think even if you haven't seen all of the Clone Wars, you've got to go back and watch that that final arc, and the last wrap up scene is incredible. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll talk Mando more again, I'm sure. Let's talk prop store auction. We're not going to spend a whole ton of time because they're a big giant auction that, as we record this, happened today and will happen tomorrow. You're listening to this theoretically on Friday the 4th, I guess. So the big catalog, 500 pages or something.
Yeah, it's huge. It's an awesome catalog. You can download the PDF online for free. Definitely worth flipping through it.
It's fun just to look at it. But there's a lot of stuff. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm always a little disappointed that there's no stuff that we could actually probably buy. The only thing I think that we possibly could have bid on where they're cheap enough and there's 3 things is the Hawkman sort of weapons from Flash Gordon.
Right, yeah. And those will end up going for ridiculous money.
Those will go for stupid money.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will. But the estimate was 800, 600 to 800, and there were 3 of them. Those would be cool to have. I don't know if they went today or they're going tomorrow.
They're probably I think they're in the second half, so they're probably tomorrow.
But if we get those for $900, I'd pay $300 for one of them.
Oh, absolutely.
I would too.
I guarantee they go for $3,500 at least.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't doubt it. And I think that there's more awareness of that movie even now than there was 10 years ago.
Oh,
I think,
big time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mostly due to our interview with Sam Jones.
Definitely.
Exactly. So why don't we go around in order? What were we saying? 5 things that you would want from the catalog. Would we say 3 or 5? I don't care.
I don't care.
Why don't we just take a first choice? Just go around first and
I don't know
that.
if I have a first choice. It's hard to make a choice.
Well, just throw one out there because otherwise
Yeah.
we're going to say all the same things. So
That's what I'm saying. Let's just go around.
Yeah.
No?
You start, Dave.
Okay.
What's the
I'll
first
start.
item on your list?
I'm just going by my list. It's probably not order. Ramirez's sword from Highlander. To me, that's one of my favorite swords. That's the Sean Connery version of the
cool.
katana from Highlander. Love that. Always love that. I have a very cheap, crappy replica of it. I think it's actually Duncan's, but
You have Duncan's,
it was
yeah.
$29, so it's not very accurate. But
I'm going to have to watch
That's
that
my
movie
thing. Todd?
someday.
Whoa. You've never seen Highlander?
I've never
Have we
seen
said
Highlander.
Talked about this?
We have talked about it. I've never seen it.
Did I have the same reaction? You
Yes.
have not seen Highlander?
There could
No.
be only one person who hasn't seen it.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what?
me.
Here's your punishment. And Todd, back me up on this. Before the next episode, you have to watch Highlander 2.
Yes, that's right.
What's
Don't
good
do
is
that,
that
Tom. Don't do that.
there's
Don't do
nothing
that
No,
actually making you do that.
You watch Highlander, and you have to watch Highlander 2 also.
Oh, God. No, don't.
Do I get to pick shitty movies
Highlander's-
for you to watch?
You have.
That's a segment, actually.
Zardoz.
Okay, but if we do it as a segment, but you're making me watch this by myself. That's not
Let's
fair.
punishment.
Wait a minute. Whoa. This might be a theme. Shitty movie with Sean Connery, right?
Yeah. It's not his
Is he
fault.
in the second one?
It's not his fault, but he
He's
agreed to
the
be in
second
it.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched Highlander maybe 6 months ago, and while it's a little 80s, it still holds up. Definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
I'll watch the first one just for the Queen music, but second one.
I watched a couple
It's a
episodes
good
of
movie.
Highlander, the series. That doesn't hold up as much.
Yeah. Okay. Todd, what do you got? What's on your list as we make this a 3
This is very, very hard. I got to say, I would probably go with the Dalek. I just
Oh,
think
full size
that would
Dalek,
be-
yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So it's a more
That's cool.
recent one, but it's in great shape, and I would totally bring that home.
The shipping from London's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
would
you've
be.
got to really be committed to these items, the big ones, because their stuff's all in England.
Yeah,
and according to
Yeah.
that podcast we listened to, I guess in order to be able to auction something in England,
gotta be
it
there.
has to physically be there. So
Yep.
That's screwed up. The shipping from California is bad enough.
I know, right? All right, I'll go.
Barry.
And as a surprise to absolutely nobody, The Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper blaster is probably, out of everything in that catalog,
That
thing that I
was
would
my
want
pick
the
for
most.
you, Barry.
yeah, it's just awesome. You know, the only thing that would make it better is if it was an A New Hope Stormtrooper blaster, but still,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It
I know. Can you
it very
really
well
tell
might
the
be.
difference?
Yeah, I can tell the difference. I think the original ones were all based on Sterlings, and I think after a while they were casting them in rubber, and they weren't.
Oh, okay.
They weren't all based
Yeah.
on actual Sterlings.
Yeah. Again, I don't no particular order, but I got to pick the Pulsar watch from Live and Let Die.
I had that on my
talked
list
about
for
that
you.
I had that on my
years.
list for you.
The actual one. I mean, that
is the real
sweet.
deal.
Yeah.
And you get a bunch of other stuff with it too, like photos
Yeah.
and a telegram.
I'm curious how much that goes for.
I gotta wonder. I mean, you have an affection for it, but I wonder. Like, I would think people would want the Rolexes more than something like that.
You know why
You
I
can
have
get the
an
Rolexes.
What?
I says you can get the Rolexes though. These are pretty hard to find.
Well, it's the real one. I don't know where
It's
his
the actual
Rolexes
one,
are.
yeah.
But and I just have this weird attachment to that. I don't think anyone looks at that and says that's a James Bond watch.
No,
totally.
either.
It's literally in 2 minutes of the movie, and that's it.
Yep.
So, but
But just the fact that
Maybe I
we've
should
talked
bid
about
on
it, and I know you have the replica. When I saw that, I'm like, ooh, Dave's gonna want that.
I don't have a replica. I have the actual one, but it's just not that.
It's
one.
not that one, right? That's right.
Todd.
Todd, what else you got?
I would go with the Black Widow's dress from Iron Man 2. So
For reasons that we can't put on a non-explicit podcast.
it's a little creepy, but honestly, I would totally put that on a mannequin and put that in the corner and just,
Would you, or would you make Karen wear it every day?
I would totally put it on a mannequin and put it in the corner and keep it pristine forever. But yeah, it's It is the
enough.
first time she was on screen.
Yeah.
So
I tend to avoid costumes, but I think my next favorite thing in that catalog is the full T2 Arnold Schwarzenegger costume from Terminator 2. That's just incredible. And it's got the bullet holes in the back of the jacket, and it's the whole costume. That to me is maybe my second favorite thing in the whole catalog.
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah, that was cool. I know there's two different types, but I've got to go with the Obi-Wan lightsaber hilt, the dueling one. There's a stunt one and a dueling one. I mean, my favorite Jedi, and I feel like there's probably 100 Obi-Wan lightsabers of some sort available out there, but this is one of them.
And we met Nick Gillard at Celebration 3, and these are his personal. I think he had kept the set from the set, and these are them. So
that's pretty.
Doesn't
cool.
get better than getting them straight from the stunt coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
Todd,
where are we, Todd?
I would go with Bruce Lee's nunchuck from Game of Death.
that was on my list
Those
too.
are cool.
Yeah. Boy, what an
Those are
iconic
awesome.
thing to have it sitting in a
That
display
is
case
something
with a
else.
photo of
You
him.
you don't see that kind of stuff.
No, that's it's crazy. And that would be that'd be amazing.
Talk about iconic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My next one.
I don't know if it.
Oh, go ahead.
Go
Dave.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my next one is the first contact phaser rifle.
Yep. I have
Always
that.
love that prop, and it's just so cool. And it's not something that you ever really saw, ever again. So it was kind of a. I think it might have. Did it show up in Next Generation at all, or was it only in First Contact?
I feel like it's been around
Voyager.
a bit.
They used it in
okay,
Voyager.
Voyager.
Yeah.
But it was just that's such a cool prop. I really do like that one. So that was my next one.
Yeah, in that movie they used that a lot, which is in the
they
interior
needed
and
to.
then out on the
Out on the saucer
dish.
too.
Yeah, that was cool. Got to go with Maverick's helmet. How do you not?
I wasn't sure if
I
you were
thought
going to
you
go
were
for the
gonna go
helmet
for
or the
flight
jacket.
jacket.
Yeah.
But
To me, the helmet display is better than the jacket,
yeah,
and
no
that's
question,
not
but-
the actual jacket. That's the secondary. That's like the backup jacket.
Right.
oh, okay, I didn't read that much.
When they went back for reshoots, I guess that this famous elevator scene, they wanted to get more heat between the Charlie and Maverick, those were later, and they could not find the original jacket, so they had to grab this other jacket. So that's what that one is.
Because somebody walked off with it, or it was in Tom Cruise's wardrobe somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably.
So on the topic of helmets,
oh yeah,
Tom Hanks' helmet from Saving Private Ryan, autographed by the cast.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That's just, and Steven Spielberg on the brim. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
See, and I was
like
looking at
something-
that, and I was debating whether that was lessened by all those autographs. I would almost rather have that helmet as it appeared in the film.
I think I would too.
I got to say, Barry, if they had signed on the inside, I would feel just a little bit better.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Inside would be like, oh my God, is that the helmet? Yes, and look on the insides.
Yes,
and
yeah, that's
on
what
the
I'm
outside,
saying.
it's
Yep.
a little like, you kind of screwed it up.
And I'm sure there was more than one helmet anyway. You know,
Oh my
I'm sure there
God,
was
I'm
probably
sure.
Yeah, they did say
20
that as the
Captain
hero
Miller
one,
helmets,
so-
but that's the
Yeah.
hero one, which is kind of like, ooh, they signed all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
The next thing on my list, I think, is the aliens egg from Aliens.
Okay.
Because it's
that's
to me
cool.
very iconic. It's very clear what that is. I don't think you'd have to explain that to too many people. And there's not a lot of cool stuff from. I mean, I would love the pulse rifle, but they're like impossible to get. I've seen these eggs show up in a bunch of these auctions, so
there's a lot of them in Aliens. So
yeah, feels slightly more obtainable.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Even though it's not my favorite James Bond, the Walther PPK.
Yeah, I had that too. I thought you were going
with the silencer. I mean, it has a lot going for it.
It
You know,
does.
It's a real gun. It's the hero prop. It's got the silencer.
Was that Timothy Dalton's or Pierce Brosnan's?
Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan's.
Yeah. Timothy Dalton would have probably taken it down another. It wouldn't have made the list if it was his. I think.
And did he have a PPK? Or did he have a P5?
No, the P5 started with Brosnan. He had both.
Oh, he
P5 is
did.
the
Okay.
modern one, right?
Okay.
Yeah. He was the first one to have the other Walther gun. Yeah. So that's my fifth thing.
Todd, do you have anything else?
So my fifth thing is, I know you guys aren't as big into this film as I am, but I absolutely love it. I would take the Judge Anderson costume from Dredd, which I absolutely love, and I think it would be an incredible thing to display. As they've got it. It comes with the helmet, has the Lawgiver Mark II with it. That would just be an amazing piece to display. So
That's cool. So my fifth one is a slightly odd thing, and this doesn't pass the "does anybody know what it is" test, but they've got one of the communication arms that comes out of R2-D2 from A New Hope.
yeah,
They call it a computer interface arm tip, but it's it's a real
I called something that too.
it's a real piece of R2-D2 from A New Hope, and that's there's a Death Star tile in there, and you guys know I've always wanted one of those, but there's a lot of those.
I think the R2 thing would be cooler to
Yeah,
have. It's
me too.
a little
Yeah.
more unique.
yeah.
Me too.
What does that thing go for? 20,000. What's
yeah,
what's
it's
the
got
estimate
to.
on it?
They've got
Huh?
it listed at a fairly low number. Let me see what it was listed at. Hang on, I've got it here. 4,000 to 6,000. There's no way.
That goes for 20.
At
Easy.
least.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There are a lot of smaller, like single little pieces too. That like one of the things that like the Jurassic Park license plates and stuff like that. Very iconic, very cool. Probably not going
I
to be.
feel like, and I did see those, I feel like you can get that for probably $3,000 or some crazy
that's what I'm
number.
saying. So there's things
And
that aren't going to be
you can
insane.
get a replica for $10. I'm like, I'd be okay with the replica for $10.
Yeah. What did you think of the surfboard logo from Batman?
I know.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and I know that's how they made the thing. But if it was the actual suit logo, that'd be much cooler.
Yes, I agree.
Even though it's the exact same thing. But
Yep.
yeah, that was interesting because I always look like, what could I actually bid on? But then you just get it. You know they're going to go for stupid money.
Yeah,
Everything
I
is.
couldn't find anything in this catalog that I was like, that's something I think I could bid on and have a decent shot at getting. There's nothing in there.
Especially, I think we're at the maybe it's an apex. I don't know if it's a plateau. I don't know if it's the apex and it goes down of prop collecting. There's just nothing that's going to go cheap.
No, I agree.
The other thing is interesting is like there's like some reproductions mixed in here too.
Yep.
That
you
are
gotta read
like
it very
high quality
carefully.
things, but still they're reproductions, and it's just
Why throw them in? I don't get it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a prop auction. You got to have that. You got to draw that line.
There's something else in there that was small that should be relatively obtainable but won't be. Is the brass key from The Fifth Element? I don't know if you guys saw that. I've got a good brass replica of it that, looking at the one in the catalog, I probably need to do a little weathering on mine because mine's a little too shiny brass. But I was even looking at that. That's estimated to go for $3,000 to $5,000, and it's probably going to go for $15,000, $20,000.
There's everything's it's just crazy money, and it's definitely no end to that.
One
All
other
right,
thing
any
that
honorable mentions?
I've got one honorable mention. And it's not my favorite movie, but I think it's really iconic, is Axel Foley's Detroit Lions jacket from Beverly Hills Cop. I saw that and I was like, that's just so immediately identifiable.
Oh, totally. I would go with one of the things, you mentioned the nunchucks, but the hand, the claw hand.
Oh, the claw, yeah.
I remember I saw I don't know why. I told you my parents used to take me to crazy movies, inappropriate movies when I was a kid. But I saw Enter the Dragon in the theater when I was 8 or 9, whatever year it came out, and that whole thing freaked me out. That guy's hands, that just stuck with me. And like, you look up Bruce Lee. Of the top 5 photographs of him, one of them is from Enter the Dragon with the scars across his chest. Yeah. So to put that in a case with the picture of Bruce Lee with the scars across his chest would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Mine would be the Ex Machina face.
That was too creepy for me.
It's very creepy, but it's like I just.
Yeah, that's the Alicia Vikander.
It'll go right onto your real doll with no problems at all.
You want to know what one of my other honorable mentions, and it's probably too big, so based on the size of it, I wouldn't. But the helicopter model from the Joker helicopter from the '89 Batman, it's so cool. It's really and what I love about it is it's got the Joker logo from like the '66, like all the merchandise from the '60s. That's the Joker logo that's on the side of the helicopter.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
But I think it's like 30-something inches long. It's a big model.
You can get the Paramount thing that's like the size of a house.
Oh my god, that thing looks amazing. I mean, it's amazing to think that that's the Paramount logo, but that just got thrown away.
Yeah, there's a ton. So check it out. It's on. You could download like Barry said. You could download the.
You get a PDF
catalog.
of the catalog.
I'm just looking at even. The slates, the clappers, they go for a lot of money. Star Trek Undiscovered Country estimate is $4,000 to $6,000. I was the assistant cameraman is the one who controlled the slate, and I have them from stuff I worked on. I wish they'd be worth some money. Like no movie I worked on, I could sell one of these slates for $4,000.
You never know.
Hudson Hawk.
You never know. You'd be shocked.
Yeah. I do like the risk communicator from Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yep.
Yeah,
I gotta say that's one of the things that I would want from that.
I really like the bar of soap from Fight Club because it's not the promotional one that has Fight Club in it. It's just one of the bars of soap that they made.
Yeah. The other small thing was the German cap from Raiders.
Yeah.
Be kind
That'll go for crazy money too.
It will.
You know what else? My last one was the Next Generation Dustbuster phaser because it's just such
a
weird looking
thing, isn't it?
design.
It's just such a horrible design.
I know, but it would be cool to have an original phaser of some kind, even if you got to get the ugliest one.
Honestly, a Dustbuster is more attractive than that design. Yeah,
It is crazy that ever made it on the show.
it is. But it's very 80s.
Yeah, there's like nothing you could bid on that you could actually get. I mean, it's just like...
Well, I mean, look, we're fortunate that we have a lot of really awesome things, but you're bidding against guys that, are it's just another level of collector. We just don't have the resources they have.
True. All these Rambo knives are cool too.
Yep.
The First Blood knife, that would be the key.
Yeah.
So anyway, check out that catalog. Buy us something or buy yourself something. We're fine either way. Just let us know.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed our show for the last 7 years and you want to buy us a gift, that's a great catalog to pick from.
It's been free.
And we just
so
gave
know.
you our Christmas gift suggestions right
Yes.
there.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, the passenger's Jennifer Lawrence bathing suit. I would put that... It could visit your Scarlett Johansson dress. How much will this... so the cars from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they had to ship them to London? I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
What's the shipping on that cost? There's a ton
I
of
can't
stuff
even
from
imagine.
Oblivion. There's so much cool stuff in here. Anyway, cool.
Yep.
Okay, let's go what's in the box.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd, what's in the box?
I tend to buy a lot of these, and this one I kind of missed and I just picked up. This is the Art of Captain Marvel.
Oh.
And so this is the slipcase from it, and the book is here. This is a really nice one because they went through a lot of variations in production of the costume designs and for Halo the Homeworld and the Skrulls and all that kind of stuff. So there's tons, even more so than some of the others I have. They went through all these different iterations of what, like, I mean, look at if you just see the Skrull evolution.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Oh, wow.
I really, like I said, enjoyed this one. And again, the way these are, there are a lot of production photos, not a lot of text. I did read this one almost entirely because I do like the movie a lot. I love the different ideas of what they were going to do with Samuel L. Jackson. And some of these, he's just very, like kind of 70s-ish looking and very almost shafty looking. And it makes me
Are
very
those
glad that they did what
drawings
they
or
did.
those costumes they made?
Yeah. Yep. And but and then there's
That was a
storyboards in
question.
here too.
Todd, that was a question.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Are those drawings or those costumes that they actually made?
No, these are all drawings. This is all production.
Okay, I
this
wasn't
is
sure.
art of. So it's all production pre-production stuff. And then of course advertising arts in here and stuff too. But like I said, I just really like these books. And this is a nice one. So the Art of Captain Marvel.
Cool.
Barry, what do you got?
I have books also. One of the many things that I like to collect are Rush things, and ever since I first went to my first Rush concert, they always did a tour book, and I always bought the tour books at the shows. Some of them I managed to save through the years, and a lot of them I didn't. And over the years, I've been rebuying them. And actually, through Rush's website, they have reprints of all of them that you can buy at a really affordable prices. So I've been, anytime I place an order from their site, which I did for my birthday, I bought myself some birthday presents from their website. I add a couple of these tour books in, and I got the last 3 that I needed, and they actually just came today. So I have the Counterparts tour book from Rush, and the Test for Echo tour book from Rush, and the Vapor Trails tour book. What's really cool about these books is that Neil Peart wrote a essay about making of that album and them going on tour in every one of these that's not reprinted anywhere. So there's a couple page, original story by Neil Peart in every one of these books, which is really cool.
Barry, are those album sized?
They are album sized, and I now have all of them.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's great.
They started it on their 4th album, and what I don't have, what they just released and I will eventually get, they went back and made tour books for the first 3 tours for the first 3 albums as if they would have been tour books. So they used like vintage photos from that era, and they created tour books for tour books that didn't exist, just so that there would be one for every single album and tour. So those are kind of cool. But yeah, I've got some of these are originals and some of them are reprints, but they don't even mark them as reprints, so I don't even know. Maybe there's a way to tell which one's real and which one's a reprint, but yeah, they're album size, and they've got every one of them has photos from the previous tour and a list of all their equipment that each band member uses, and on all kinds of interesting things. The first bunch of them had crossword puzzles in them, like just crazy stuff. So yeah, so I got those today. I got a Rush coffee mug in that order as well, and a shirt. So happy birthday to me. But now I have all the Rush tour books. So that's what's in the box. Dave, what's in the box?
I have something that I blame Adam Savage for, as I have many things I blame him for. But he did this tested a couple weeks ago. This is a 11-foot remote, like, endoscope camera.
Interesting.
I had something. We have a gutter that I think was clogged, and I'm like, if I can get one of those things, but it's ridiculous to buy. This was $32,
and it's got a camera built into it.
That's the camera, and what you do, it puts out a Wi-Fi signal that you connect to your phone. Am I recording this? I am recording this. I don't want to record this. I don't know if you guys could see the phone.
Yeah. So
yeah, it puts out a signal. Like there's stuff on my desk.
Yeah,
that's
Dave,
pretty
let me
awesome.
know which one of those you bought, because
Yeah.
I bought one of those ones that did not work as well and was
This
shorter.
works good. It's like,
And that looks pretty good. Okay, we're now seeing Dave's esophagus.
Dave literally just stuck it down his throat, and we're seeing the inside of his throat.
That is
I don't
epic.
know where to put it. Wait, hang on a second. There's my printer. But yeah, it works good.
That's pretty cool.
There's a couple different lengths. I got the 11-foot one. There's a 6-foot one. There's a 30-foot one. But
Basically, the
Oh,
home
fun.
endoscopy kit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can actually
I'll find-
see that there would be a ton of uses for that, though. That's
yeah,
great.
I have to, when I snake wires and stuff, it's good to see what's in walls and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was cool. For $30, I mean, it's ridiculous
No, that is
how
cool.
cheap it is.
I know we were texting yesterday. I watched a video that Adam Savage had put up, an almost hour-long video where he starts out super enthusiastic. He's gonna, he got this piece of aluminum. He's gonna mill a lightsaber out of it. He's gonna do a tutorial, and he's all excited. And he makes a couple mistakes, and he gets really frustrated. And there's a point where he's like, and he's filming this by himself on his iPhone. He's like, this is where normally I would tell the cameraman to just leave me alone for 30 minutes, but obviously I can't do that. And you could see the frustration oozing out of him. Did you watch it, Dave?
I did. I watched most of it. Yeah, I did watch all of it tonight.
Yeah, he was so aggravated. It was kind of palpable just watching it. But
Yeah,
hey,
it's
we
a
all
little
make mistakes
crazy.
when we're making stuff, so it was kind of cool
He
to
made
see.
like a bunch too. But
Yeah.
it's not as easy.
Yeah,
I think he started off thinking it'd be easy, and
quick. I think he thought he would knock it out in a couple hours, and
Yeah.
he made a lot of mistakes.
So, yeah. So that's what's in the box. Okay. Any last thoughts? I have one, and I know
Yep, go for
Barry
yours.
has one. Barry. Huh?
Oh, you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll go first. We tend to make note when people that are involved in projects and things we love leave us. And as we record this, David Prowse famously was the man behind the mask for Darth Vader in the original trilogy. He passed away this week. He's been sick for a while. We all, if you ever went to a convention in the last 25 years, you probably saw David Prowse, because that was really his career after Star Wars. I've met him a few times, got a few autographs from him. He was one of those ever-present guys that, 15 years ago when you were going to conventions, you just assumed he would always be there, because he was always there. You'd see him 3 or 4 times a year at different shows. But it's a guy that Dave and I know named Andy Luck, who is involved in the Star Wars autograph universe, put a story up that I thought was really funny. At Celebration 4 in Los Angeles, Andy and his friend were online, and they were the next in line to go get David Prowse's autograph. And Corey Feldman jumped in front of the line, and he wanted to get an autograph from David Prowse, and he jumped in front of everybody, and he said, "Hey, Dave, can I get an autograph?" And Dave was like, "Well, where's your ticket?" Because back then you didn't pay cash at the table; you had to have a ticket. And he's like, "I don't have a ticket." He goes, "Well, I'm Corey Feldman," and he goes, "Well, I was Darth Vader. You don't have a ticket, you don't get an autograph."
Yeah, that's great.
I thought that was funny, so I just thought that was a good story to share on the passing of David Prowse. So
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
David Prowse. All right, I know I am always the ones like, oh, last thoughts. I just have one. It's the holidays, and mine is not. You wouldn't expect it coming from me, but I do. I'm like the Grinch. I do have a heart in there. It's like the holiday season, and with all this COVID and all this, there are a lot of misfortunes going on with people. My wife has been doing this, making meals for families, this whole thing she's involved with, and we just delivered one tonight. There's a family who, they get assigned these random families, they've lost their jobs, and it's a tough time to be out of work. So I'm lucky we both have our jobs, we have our health, money's not an issue right now. So if you're in that same position and you could do something for someone else, do it. It's a tough time of year. It's always a bad time of year to be in that position for anybody, but certainly the holidays make it worse. So if there's something you can do, go ahead and do it. That's all.
There's a lot to feel bad about in 2020. If you can go out on a note where feeling like you did something really good for somebody, particularly somebody in a bad position that did not put themselves there, it will leave the year on a good note for you. And we've got a couple things that we're planning on doing like that, and we've done things like that in the past. But I'm telling you, the feeling that you get from that makes up for a lot of other hurt, and there's a lot of people right now that just need a little bit of help.
I agree
Absolutely.
totally. Agree totally. And yeah, I've been doing everything I can. There's a lot. I mean, the industry that I work in, thankfully, we're still working, but other parts of the entertainment industry even have been shut down for almost a year now, and people haven't been able to work. And so I've been doing everything I can for some of those. There's a bunch of charities now that are doing things just to support the stage crews and the touring road crews and all the to support people that the big movie stars and the rock stars and all these guys, they've got money and they're okay not being able to perform, but everybody a tier down from that and below is really having hard times. So that's just one industry of 1,000 that's being affected.
There's a ton. I mean, this thing Pam does where she makes these meals for families. It's their lasagnas. It's this whole thing called Lasagna Love, and it's a simple thing it was on the Today Show, and it's really spreading. And these families like, look, due to COVID, my husband lost their job. We can't make ends meet, and just give one meal. I mean, it's a little tiny thing, but it meant. And she got this really sweet note back from the woman today that we dropped off the meal for. But I always do a Toys for Tots kind of thing every year. I think this year I'm going to ramp that up because not that it's all about getting presents, but a 6-year-old doesn't get it.
And they don't understand
for them.
And it's hard because a lot of things like the toy collection things like the fire departments do and Toys for Tots and things like this, none of those programs are running right now.
I think Toys for Tots is place,
but I'm saying not the same way, not the collection sites and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so it's they're very very
and so
restricted
much
in
of
what
it was
they're
done
doing
at people's
and how
jobs
they can distribute.
Those jobs, the office buildings where a lot of that stuff happened aren't open, and a lot of the public places that people would go to donate that stuff's not open. So
it may take a little effort, but there's definitely something you can do. So hey, I look at it this way: nothing has changed for us. We're knock on wood, we're all healthy. My son had corona, but he recovered with no problem. We're still working. Things are good. So I feel like I want to share the goodness.
Listen, people, Dave Pisani is telling you to do this.
It is a good way to feel good.
If Dave Pisani is telling you to do this, you have to do it.
Exactly right. And I don't even like people.
That's what I'm saying.
but
We can all agree none of us really like people, so it's.
I help the animals all the time. I just donated today. It's Giving Tuesday. I donate to a number of animal charities on a weekly basis or monthly basis, really, and I do that. But I guess humans need help too. So
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Just do what you can. That's all.
Yep.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.